بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Al-Fiqh al-Istidlali, the section on fasting. We are on the page 452. We are continuing the discussion about validity of sighting the moon in one place for other places. We said al-mashhur, the most famous opinion among the scholars, is that if it is cited in one place, it would not be sufficient. The second opinion is that it would be sufficient for all other places. We studied the arguments for the first opinion, for mashhur. Now we are studying arguments for the second opinion. We reached number 4. إطلاق بعض النصوص. Some of the hadiths that we have in this regard, they don't make distinction between two places being near or far, sharing the same horizon or not. منها صحيحة هشام بن الحكم عن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام في من صام 29. In hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that Hisham ibn Hakam reports, which is Sahih. We have a question about, or discussion about, the one who has fasted 29 days. Imam alayhi salam said, إن كانت له بينة عادلة على أهل مصر أنهم صاموا 30 على رؤيته قضى يوما. If this person who has fasted 29 days has bayyana, two witnesses who are adil, which confirmed that people of a place, of a city, Misr here doesn't mean the country, Misr means city, that Ahl Misr, people of a city, of a place, they have fasted 30 days after sighting the Hilal. So when they saw Hilal after the beginning of months of Ramadan, they fasted 30 days. This person fasted how many days? 29 days. Imam said, Qadha yawman. He must make qadha of one day. Imam doesn't say if that city which people fasted 30 days was near, shared the same horizon, so he also has to observe 30 days. If he has fasted 29, so one day is to be done qadha. No, it's general. Imam says, if people of another city, they have seen and fasted 30 days, you should also do 30 days according to this hadith. إطلاقها يعني إطلاق هذه الصحيحة يعم صورة اختلاف الأفق. It's general. Whether they have similarity in ufuq or not, hadith doesn't make distinction. Maybe someone says, at that time, they didn't have, airplanes, things like that they could go very fast. Therefore, if someone was hearing that in another place they have fasted today, for example, yesterday, whatever, or didn't fast, it means that they were near each other, and therefore someone was walking or, riding a horse or camel was reaching and informing. So we cannot understand from this that if someone in another part of the world which is very far has seen, it would be sufficient for us. لا يقال. This should not be said. This point that we mentioned is not acceptable. It should not be said. Because there's a problem. We will say what is the problem. لا يقال إن المقصود من البينة العادلة في تلك الأزمان ما كان أفقها متحدا. It shouldn't be said that it is known that at that time they meant two just people in a city which has same horizon, because there was no telephone, not airplane, etc. وإلا فالمختلف لا يمكن تحصيل بينة منه. Otherwise, if they were مختلف in ufuq, how could they find out that two just adil say this, that in their city it was sighted? Now two people see in another part of the world, either by plane they travel and they inform people, or they pick up a phone or mobile, But in the past, it had to be a place near. So, this should not be said. Why? Because then there is a good response. فَإِنَّهُ يُقَالُ, like إن قُلْتَ قُلْتُ. If you say, I say this, in scholarly book we have this kind of things. We call this دفع دخل مقدر. So you reply to a potential objection. If you make this objection, we say this answer. So it shouldn't be objected. فَإِنَّهُ يُقَالُ. What's the answer? If we were saying that on the same day or next day, Bayyana says that in another place it was seen, then you could say, okay, this has to be near. Because the same day or next day, who could, quickly inform? But we didn't say the same day or next day. So maybe after 2 weeks sometimes comes and says, according to the calendar, says, for example, on the 20th of, for example, September, or, other months in different calendars, we saw the moon after Shawwal. It doesn't need to be reported quickly. فإنه يقال هذا لو كان قيام البينة بعد يوم أو أيام قليلة. Therefore it must be near. لكنه لم يفترض التحديد بذلك أو لم يفترض التحديد بذلك. But here the text has not limited to يوم أو أيام قليلة, or there is no such a supposition. It can be after 2 weeks, after 1 month. The next is صحيحة عبد الرحمن ابن أبي عبد الله قال سألت أبا عبد الله عليه السلام عن هلال شهر رمضان. He says, Abdul Rahman says, I asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam about the crescent of months of Ramadan. Ghamma yagham is from ghamam, is cloud. He said, I asked that sometimes in 29 min Sha'ban, 29th of Sha'ban, Hilal is clouded. It's hidden from us. We cannot see the Hilal or crescent. What should we do? قال لا تصم إلا أن تراه. Don't fast unless you see. So it's months of Sha'ban, yeah? Maybe months of Sha'ban is 29 days, so you must see. Maybe it's 30 days, you must not see. Now that it's cloud, anyway you cannot see. So you don't know whether the crescent of the months of Ramadan is there and you cannot see, or it's not there. Okay? So what should you do? Should you start fasting? Say, no, for fasting you need proof. لا تصم إلا أن تراه. Don't fast unless you see hilal. Or at least there must be bayyana for you. Maybe you have not seen, but two just people have seen and report. فَإِنْ شَهِدَ أَهْلُ بَلَدٍ آخَرٍ. If you don't fast, you say, I have no hujjah, I have not seen, so I continue with months of Ramadan. I assume that tomorrow is the 30th of the month of Ramadan. Then people from another place come and bear witness that it was actually month of Ramadan, was 30th of the month of Ramadan, or for the beginning it was the 1st of Ramadan and not 30th of Sha'ban. Then if these people who come from another city are adil and we can rely on their testimony, so it means that we have missed one day. فَقَضِهِ, fasted. There is no kafara but fasting. Qadha. There is also Sahihah to Ishaq ibn Ammar. Maybe someone makes an objection. He says, no, from this I cannot understand that it would be sufficient for other places. لا يقال إن المستفاد منها أن المانع هو الغيم ومعه يلزم وحدة الأفق وإلا كان الاختلاف هو المانع. It shouldn't be said that what we understand from this Sahih is that the only reason for not seeing is cloud. If cloud was not there, we were also able to see, as the people of another place say they have seen. So if cloud is the only problem, then it means that they have to be in same horizon. Because if they are very far from each other, then not seeing can be for another reason, because it's not there, it's not yet time in the second place. وَإِلَّا كَانَ الْإِخْتِلَافُ وَالْمَانِعُ. Otherwise, difference in horizon could be the obstacle, not just ghaim or cloud. This objection is not a good objection. Why? فَإِنَّهُ يُقَالْ إِنَّ الْجَوَابَ مُطْلَقٌ. We say Imam alayhi salam in his answer didn't specify, he was general. He said, إِنْ شَهِدَ أَهْلُ بَلَدٍ آخَرٍ فَقَضَهُ. There was no distinction between whether there is ikhtilaf in ufuq or not. The next text, the next hadith, صحيحة أبي بصير عن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام سئل عن اليوم الذي يقضى من شهر رمضان, about the day that is being fasted from the months of Ramadan as qadha. So people say Sha'ban was not 30 days. We missed the first of Ramadan. We thought it is 30th of Sha'ban, but it is known now that it was first of Ramadan. We should do qadha. سئل عن اليوم الذي يقضى من شهر رمضان فقال, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, لا تقضه, you don't need to make qadha إلا أن يثبت الشاهدان عدلان من جميع أهل الصلاة متى كان رأس الشهر. Unless two witnesses who are righteous, who are adil, from people who are committed to salat, people who are religious, pious, they say when was the beginning of the month. If these two people say we have seen the moon or crescent and this was the beginning, okay, you go by that. Also said, لا تصم ذلك اليوم الذي يقضى إلى أن يقضي أهل الأمصار. When people start doing qadha, don't do qadha unless people of those cities themselves make qadha. فَإِنْ فَعْلُوا, if they make qadha, then you have to do qadha, you must fast. So, two sections of this hadith show that we don't make distinction between people of different cities and amsar. ومنها صحيحة منصور بن حازم عن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام صوم لرؤية الهلال وأفطر لرؤيته after لرؤية الهلال. Fast for seeing the moon, the crescent. Break also. So beginning and end of month of Ramadan based on ru'ya. فإن شهد عندكم شاهدان مرضيان بأنهما رأياه فقضي. Okay, you said today I didn't see the moon, so it is not Ramadan, it is 30th of Sha'ban. Then two shahid who are satisfactory, they have all the requirements, they're adil, they say that we saw it. It was not 30th of Sha'ban. It was, for example, was a Monday, you thought it is 30th of Sha'ban, but we saw the moon, and therefore it was 1st of Sha'ban. 1st of Ramadan. Then faqdihi, then you have to do qada. وغيرها مما دل على كفاية شهادة الشاهدين من دون تقييد بكونهما متحدي الأفق. متحدي الأفق. So, if two witnesses offer testimony, in this hadith that we mentioned for you, there is no restriction to say that it must be for people who share horizon. هذا الوجه والصحيح, but there are also other ways. People have argued differently, but we may not accept for the same point. So, for Wahdatul Ufuq, some arguments work, some arguments may not work. For one of the arguments that may not work is this: ما جاء في دعاء صلاة العيد, صلاة عيد الفطر or عيد القربان, we say اللهم إني أسألك بحق هذا اليوم الذي جعلته للمسلمين عيدا ولمحمد صلى الله عليه وآله ذخرا وشرفا وكرامة ومزيدا. أسألك بحق هذا اليوم or أسألك في هذا اليوم الذي جعلته للمسلمين عيدا. Is this هذا, this يوم, this day, is this shakhsi or it is kulli and nawi? If we say هذا اليوم, this day which has been made Eid, is personal day, then it has one implication. If we say it's general, has another implication. ما جاء في دعاء الصلاة العيد أسألك في هذا اليوم الذي جعلته للمسلمين عيدا فإن المشار إليه واحد شخصي. Here you are referring to one particular day. وقد جعل عيدا لجميع المسلمين. This has been made Eid and feast for all believers. فبهاتين المقدمتان يثبت المطلوب. With these two premises, then we can say that Salatul Eid is Eid for all Muslims. So it must be one day. So if in one place they see, it would be sufficient for other places. If Tuesday is Eid in one place, in other places it should be Tuesday because it's one day. But Sheikh Irwani says maybe we should not take this shakhsi, we must keep it kulli. وفيه احتمال إرادة يوم العيد الكلي دون الشخصي. It's not that we have one day of Eid. In this place, Eid is tomorrow. In another place, is another time. Maybe one day more, earlier, one day later, whatever. So we should do إرادة كلي. احتمال إرادة يوم العيد الكلي دون الشخصي, general, universal, not personal, individual. ويدعمه أن طلوع الشمس في هذا البلد قد يكون متقدما بساعات ومن ثم يكون اليوم في البلد الثاني بعد لم يشرع. Maybe in one place moon is in a place that several hours earlier sun rises and things happen, few hours earlier. For example, say Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, compared to here, they have 3.5, 4 hours, 4.5 hours maybe time difference. So they are very early. And we don't have possibility to say this is the same day. This is not the same day. We can say it is similar. You know, sometimes you see one person and then another person say, this is the same humanity. Yes, the same humanity. But if you say the same individual, even if they are twins, it's wrong. It's not the same individual. So if you mean the same Eid as individual case, no. But if you say the same Eid means general. They share the same nature. يدعمه أن طلوع الشمس في هذا البلد قد يكون متقدما بساعات. Sometimes sun rises in one of them several hours earlier than other one. ومن ثم يكون اليوم في البلد الثاني بعده لم يشرع. Over there it's already Friday. In this place still Friday has not started. فكيف تصح إرادة اليوم الشخصي بعد فرض عدم شروعه? How can we say it's the same day everywhere while in the second place has not yet started? The second way that they argue is this: أن ليلة القدر بمقتضى سورة القدر واحدة للجميع. They say we have one ليلة القدر. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. They say it's just one. Although it starts in different times and different times in different parts of the world, but it's one. أن ليلة القدر بمقتضى سورة القدر واحدة للجميع وإن آثارها من نزول القرآن وكونها خيرا من ألف شهر وتنزل الملائكة ثابتة لليلة واحدة. All the impacts, all the effects of Laylatul Qadr, descents of Quran, being better than 1,000 months, angels and ruh descend, it's only for one night. Sheikh Ibn says, but who said Laylatul Qadr has to be one night everywhere? Maybe for some people Laylatul Qadr is now, for some people Laylatul Qadr has not yet started. وفيه احتمال تعدد ليلة القدر ويدعمه أن بعض آثارها لا يتم إلا على ذلك. We can say Laylatul Qadr is multiple and some of the effects of Laylatul Qadr cannot be understood unless we take it as multiple. فكيف تكون السلاما هي مطلع الفجر وخيرا من ألف شهر والحال أن مطلع الفجر والليل بداية ونهاية يختلفان باختلاف البلدان. These characteristics like being peace, being better than 1,000 months. If you want to go by shakhs, then it's not the same time everywhere. إنه لا بد من تعددها حتى يمكن تصور مثل هذه الآثار في جميع بقاع. So we have to assume that we have several Laylatul Qadr. Each place has its own Laylatul Qadr, although in no they are the same, in category they are the same. ثالثها سكوت الناس. The third argument, سكوت الناس عن اعتبار وحدة الأفق فإنه يدل على اعتبار ذلك. There is no hadith that is saying that horizon should be the same. If it was necessary, it should have been emphasized on. The answer is maybe it was too obvious for them. Maybe they didn't say ufuq has to be the same because they thought it is very clear. وفيه إن سكوت النصوص عن أمرين when texts and scriptures are silent about something, لابد أن يكون لوضوحه. It can be because it's very clear. We didn't need to emphasize on. كيف يحتمل كون سكوتها لوضوح عدم اعتبار وحدة الأفق؟ يحتمل كونه لوضوح. Silence is general. Silence can be because وحدة الأفق is not needed, or could be because it is obvious that it is needed. إذا جاء الاحتمال بطل الاستدلال. You cannot argue from these. Then there are two far', means two issues that can be following up, can be built upon what we have said. الأول إذا رؤي الهلال في بلد لزم لثبوته في بلد آخر اشتراكه معه في الليل ولو في قسم منه. You know, when we say وحدة الأفق is not needed, and if it is cited in one place would be sufficient for other places, this means that at least they should share the same night, even if it is part of it. Otherwise, no. إذا رؤي الهلال في بلد لزم لثبوته في بلد آخر اشتراكه معه في الليل. If crescent is cited in one place, for establishing it in another place, we need that these two balad should share night. ولو في قسم من, for example, last hour of the night of A, place A, last hour is the same with first hour of night in the second place. So there is 1 hour that both places are in night. So means sharing part of the night. Or 2 hours they share night. Means 2 hours before Fajr in one place. Another is from Maghrib for 2 hours. So they are sharing. But if night finishes in one place, after several hours, sun sets in another place, they are too far, then we cannot say it's the same day. For example, between Iran, Qom and London. Now when, if say for example Qom, suppose, I don't know, but suppose for example Fajr is 5 a.m. So in London 5 would be 1:30 a.m. 1:30 is night here, and 5 there is end of night. Hope 1:30 a.m. is right in the middle of the night for us. So we have already been from 4 o'clock something in the night. When we had the night, they had also night. Yes, end of their night is 1:30. But imagine from Maghrib till 1:30, we had night, they had night. So this is good. But if it is, for example, maybe Indonesia, Australia, by the time they start their day, maybe we still have not started our night. Then we don't share night. So in this case, if we see, it would not be sufficient for them. It can be 2 days from Qamari perspective. Yes, from Shamsi perspective, we say all Saturday, this and that. So, إذا رؤي الهلال في بلد لزم لثبوته في بلد آخر اشتراكه معه في الليل ولو في قسم منه. To accept it in for another place, the same place, second place, and the first place should share part of night at least. If not all of it, at least part of it. وإلا كان قسم من نهار البلد الآخر من الشهر السابق والقسم الآخر من الشهر. If they don't share night, so for the second place like London, it is day. So this day was last of Sha'ban, for example. When they see Hilal and we are in the day, then it becomes first of Ramadan. How is it possible? One day, beginning of it was 29th of Sha'ban, end of it's first of Ramadan. هو مما يأباه العرف. This is something that Urf does not accept. فإنه يرى تقوم الشهر بدخول تمام النهار فيه. Urf believes that month is something that depends on all the day being in that month. Sorry, I don't know if I said month or night, I repeat. Yara, yani Urf, taqawwum ash-shahr, they say month, shahr means month. For example, month of Sha'ban, month of Ramadan. They say this is dependent on what? Qivam of this is built by this. By what? دخول تمام النهار في الشهر. All of it must be from this month. We cannot, according to Urf, we cannot accept that one day part of it is Sha'ban, part of it is Ramadan. Okay, this is al-far'ul awwal. Far' al-thani, second issue, ruling that is built upon what we said. يلزم على رأي المشهور, which was saying that it is not sufficient. Seeing in one place is not sufficient for other places. يلزم على الرأي المشهور التفكيك بين مدن البلد الواحد في العيد. Cities of the same country can have different Eids. For example, in Iran, maybe Mashhad on the east and say Kermanshah, Elam, Sanandaj on the west. Maybe they have different Eids. Although it's one country, but one country doesn't affect. Countries can be wide, can be narrow. It doesn't matter. For us, these political borders cannot define whether, for example, they should have the same Eid or not. What is important is geographically, what is the distance and how they share the horizon or not. If you say, when it is cited in one place, not for 5%, it's regardless of boundaries, borders. Yeah? التفكيك بين مدن البلد الواحد في العيد إذا رؤي الهلال في بعضها. It is, if it was cited in both eastern cities and western cities, that's fine. But if it is just cited in eastern one, or maybe for western one, is not enough. إلا مع افتراض تقارب الأفق, unless we suppose that they are very close to each other in horizon. Between Mashhad and Kermanshah, there is 1 hour time difference, maybe even more, but we say, suppose 1 hour. Normally, Mashhad and Tehran have around half an hour difference. So Mashhad, time of Maghrib, is half an hour earlier than Tehran, and Tehran is the middle. So if you compare to Kermanshah, can be another half an hour. But 1 hour time difference. But if they are close to each other, like Tehran and Qom, then it's possible. إلا مع افتراض تقارب الأفق. Unless we assume that the horizons are near, then in that case, seeing in one place is enough for our place. هو مطلب واضح. This is clear. Okay, we mentioned the arguments for the second opinion. Now the third opinion has to be discussed. Mashhur was saying it's accepted everywhere for all other places. The second opinion said only when, Mashhur said it's not acceptable. Second said it's acceptable. The third makes distinction, tafsil. If it is not possible to be cited, they say, okay, they don't share. But if it is possible, they share. We discuss this, inshallah, next session. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.